Here in St. Augustine, the oldest city in America, on A1A and Highway 1. Here in our Ford Expedition, on Highway A1A, the Great American Road Trip begins. Here in St. Augustine, in front of the Casa Monica Hotel. St. Augustine, the oldest city in America. And we begin here, travel down A1A, the coastal route, and Route 1, down to Daytona. We go to Cape Canaveral, we go to Cocoa Beach, Miami South Beach, and the Florida Keys, and end at mile marker 0. On this edition of our Great American Road Trip, it begins here on a rainy day in historic St. Augustine, on historic Highway A1A and Route 1, the oldest city in America, the oldest highway in America. It's a 2-lane road trip on the Great American Road Trip. Don Pedro discovered St. Augustine here back in the 15th century, or the 1500s, behind me, the city building. It's the celebrated hotel, the Casa Monica, the oldest hotel in the United States, refurbished, $40 million, written up in all the food magazines, all the hotel magazines, the Travel Channel, Food Network, and now on our TV show, The Great American Road Trip. Next, we speak with Joni Barclay with the historic Casa Monica Hotel here in St. Augustine.
Thank you, Jan.
Tell us the big story.
Well, the big story actually is that the Casa Monica was built in 1888, but only 3 years ago it was renovated, and now we're the finest hotel in St. Augustine.
Finally remodeled. You spent over $40 million on the remodeling of the hotel.
Yes, and thank goodness we did, because just a mere 3.5 years ago this was a vacant building, and we're very happy that Mr. Kessler remodeled it and has really made it the center of cultural and events in St. Augustine.
Frommer's Travel Guide calls it the best hotel in St. Augustine.
We are a unique boutique hotel, not a cookie cutter. So people, when we have groups here, corporate events, the one thing everyone says is, I've got to bring my family back, not only to Casa Monica, but to the city of St. Augustine. We have had the King and Queen of Spain here for the only official royal visit to St. Augustine ever. We've had some pretty important movie stars, John Travolta, Joey Fatone from NSYNC. The Travel Channel came to film Best Getaways in Florida. We were named Most Romantic Hotel in Florida, and as you can see, it's a very romantic property with the 4-poster beds, the wrought iron. Mr. Kessler has spared no expense in recreating that whole era. We don't do anything ordinary. Even our meetings, we have events, and we have breaks that are outside by the pool in the Sultan's Pavilion with Moroccan dancers, belly dancers. We do big pillows on the floor. Well, we've tried to recreate as much as possible the way the hotel actually looked in 1888 when it was first built. It was difficult because after the hotel was dormant for some time and empty, it was actually turned into the courthouse. And you can imagine what the courthouse might have done to make it into offices, and so they really took away all the interesting features. We have used artists to hand paint and recreate, and you'll see that it's very, very original. Chef Rene has actually been with the Casa Monica 95 Cordova since the opening. He has appeared in many national magazines. He has gotten wonderful reviews. We just got a review out of the Orlando Sentinel that called our hotel and our restaurant one of the best they've ever seen. The Model A is one of many of our antique cars that we offer free transportation in for our guests. Yeah. And if you're very good, we're going to allow you to ride in it.
I am very good, and I will be continue to be good.
We're going to go around town, the historic district, which is a focal point for all that come to St. Augustine. And then now they all come to the Casa Monica as well.
Behind me is Flagler College here in St. Augustine on our road trip. It continues down Highway A1A. St. Augustine, the oldest settlement in the United States, older than Jamestown, older than all of them. The French landed here, and then the Spanish took it away from them. It's a historic town, and we visit it next in a Model A Ford. There's the Ugelhorn here. Next, we go for a ride in this 1929 Model A throughout St. Augustine with Brandon from the hotel. Does a fine job driving. Has an Ugelhorn. Right to the left here is Flagler College, which was originally the Ponce de Leon Hotel. It was built by Henry Flagler in the late 1800s, along with the Alcazar, which is back and to our left. This car we're in right now is a 1929 Ford Model A. The hotel acquired it shortly after opening, and we give tours around downtown and bring folks out to dinner, do things like that. We're on Avelees Street right now. This is the oldest street in the city. It's named after our sister city in Spain, in Avelees. It runs from the end down here back to the town square. Now the waterway we see here is the Intracoastal Waterway. Runs all the way down to South Florida and back up. This is one of the inlets going out to the ocean. One thing you'll find a lot of the tours showing you is this tree here. It's called the lover's tree or the kissing tree. It's a palm tree growing out of the center of an oak tree, and they both live quite nicely together. Directly to our right is the Talamana Cemetery, which was the Catholic cemetery in town. It's a large part of the ghost tours, which are very popular in St. Augustine. Around the corner here, we're going to ride by Memorial Presbyterian Church, which is another building built by Henry Flagler. It's quite spectacular at night. The dome is tinted with an orange glow to it. Henry Flagler, his first wife, and his daughter are all buried inside. The people that built this church worked 24 hours a day for 1 year to complete it. And it was completed in 1 year in time for Henry Flagler's daughter's wedding. The boiler room and power plant for the hotel were personally designed by Thomas Edison. And the interior decorator was Louis Tiffany. The college now has the largest collection of Tiffany glass in the world. Oh, wow. It's a small liberal arts college, 4-year school, about 1,900 students. And the way they built these buildings back in the late 1800s, in one moment, if you look to your left, you can see the breezeway. Even if there's a day with no wind at all, you can be standing or sitting in there and feel a very nice breeze. Up until this year, there was no air conditioning in the college, and most of it's still unair conditioned. The statue of Henry Flagler, who developed most of the southeast of the United States, was partner with Rockefeller and Standard Oil, and then built the railroad down to Key West. Directly to our right, you can see the two large steeples or towers. These were used to hold water, several hundreds, tens of thousands of gallons of water, which would create water pressure for their guests. When the Alcazar Hotel was around in the late 1800s, early 1900s, it had the largest indoor swimming pool in the world. The small bubble you can see coming out the side of it was where this pool was located. Now it's called the Cafe Alcazar. You can dine where many wealthy people once swam. It's Chef Rene in the 95 Cordova restaurant in the Casa Monica Hotel in historic St. Augustine, and a historic hotel. An award-winning chef recently appeared on the Food Channel, the Travel Channel, and now, of course, with me, Jan Scott, on the Great American Road Trip. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous $40 million hotel and restaurant.
That's right. And it's not only gorgeous, but we serve phenomenal, great food, good-looking food in a phenomenal restaurant. It's not everything is historic in here in the hotel. We have actually really fashionable, trendy food, and different items we have here on the table are unique. And it's like I bring in the diver scalp from up Maine. We got some traditional sucker tart, but with a tweak, with some fried wontons, pickled ginger, And it's really a trendy restaurant in a historic building in a historic town. We got here some nice arborio risotto with white truffle oil, balsamic reduction, Asiago cheese, and fresh shiitake mushroom. We have tiger scallop. They actually come up from Maine. We fly them in with a nice saffron reduction, fried leeks, and a beet splash. The next one we have is seafood strudel. It's a mix from shrimp, scallop, and salmon with a lobster reduction, filet tenderloin with the olives, cabrales blue cheese crust, fresh ratatouille, balsamic reduction, and a maple mashed potato.
Where do you get your fillets from? This isn't frozen, is it?
We have actually we get it from it's Colorado beef,
really?
and it gets actually aged for us specially. It gets produced dry aged for 26 days, and then it gets portioned.
It
cut,
tastes
ready to
like
go.
it.
And to finish all the menu, we got a nice Austrian supper cart, an individual one. It's a chocolate cake with raspberry filling, chocolate ganache, and here we got a nice cherry reduction and some fried almonds.
Well, here we are at Daytona International Speedway. We are here for the 24-hour Rolex 2003. Well, here we are at the 24-hour Rolex race here at Daytona International Speedway. Big 2.5-mile oval, big 2.5-mile course on the inside. The 24-hour race is about to begin. Here's the pit area. Everybody's kind of all lined up over there by the end. This facility will hold about 250,000 people. Well, you see the grandstands by here, so you have a big game place. So, this is exciting. I have this whole section to myself. Right here. So there's the yellow flag, kind of wreck the lineup of cars will be coming by here pretty soon. These are high horsepower cars, 500, 600, 700 horsepower, 800 or more. There are Ferrari, Porsche, Ford prototypes all here, GTP cars, Grand Am cars, with all the famous drivers. The beginning of the racing season in the United States starts today, February 1st, 2003. Beaches, beaches, and more beaches. This edition of our Great American Road Trip continues. Well, here we are at Daytona Beach now. We've left the racetrack, come down here to Daytona Beach, where you can still drive on the beach. Cost you $3, 6.5 miles here on a Saturday afternoon. People are out playing. They used to race on this beach. Well, the sand here in Daytona, very, very hard. That's why they let you drive on it. Environmentally questionable, but very, very hard. It's a different kind of sand. It's Daytona Beach here on the Great American Road Trip. Here on A1A, miles and miles of beaches. As far as the eye can see. Old historic Florida. Hello, Atlantic Ocean!
Hello, Jen!
Well, this is historic Route A1A, right near Highway 1 in Florida. We are in Flagler, Florida. This is Flagler Beach. Behind me, of course, cars going by, our Ford Expedition that we've taken on this trip. This is the oldest highway in the United States. It is a coastal route. It's actually, there's Highway 1, which is about 10 miles west of us, but A1A is the first highway built in the United States, and it runs up and down the coast of the United States. But what's most important is this is the most famous stretch of A1A, the most famous beach, Flagler Beach. Remember, he's the guy who built the railroad down in Key West. And this is really where our trip begins. Just north of us in St. Augustine, we are going to travel all the way south on A1A on this edition of the Great American Road Trip, and we're going to end up in Key West. Traveling down A1A. Beautiful Atlantic Ocean out there today. It's the day after the shuttle Columbia crashed, so we came here. Behind me is a space shuttle, one of the ones that went up in space and is now sort of retired. The flags are at half-mast. We've lost 7 astronauts this year. Kennedy Space Center. These rockets behind us are old rockets that were used. Here at Kennedy Space Center, people have brought flowers in. Like, here we go again. The last time our TV show visited the memorial in Oklahoma. This is the same kind of thing. These are notes that people have left just today. This one reads, "The nation mourns with you." Here's the big rocket in the booth of one of these tanks of insulation. You see how big this is? It's huge. Beaches, beaches, and more beaches. This edition of our Great American Road Trip continues. Now we're headed toward Cocoa Beach, 7 miles of northern Florida's best surfing beach. The oldest highway in America, a lot like U.S. Route 66. Wow. Headed toward Cocoa Beach. And it also continues our trip on U.S. Highway 1, another old historic highway. It's a beautiful sunny day here in February, and people are actually in the water, and people are actually surfing. Here on Cocoa Beach, 6 miles of the best surfing in Florida. Surfers are out. It's beaches, beaches, and more beaches in this edition of the Great American Road Trip. Beaches, beaches, and more beaches. This edition of our Great American Road Trip continues here from Cocoa Beach, just down from Cape Kennedy. Here at the Celebration Hotel, this is Orlando's only luxury boutique resort in Celebration, Florida, right in the midst of Disney World and all of its features. This is a created 19th century community, a vision by Walt Disney to replicate sort of small-town America, or the hometown that he grew up in. And next we have a look at the Celebration Hotel and Resort. Here on this edition of the Great American Road Trip, it continues. We don't know if the Truman Show was shot here, but it should have been. Everything in Celebration is perfect. The streets are perfectly close to each other. The houses are perfect. It's a perfect community. Very clean. Well, we're at the Celebration Hotel today in Celebration. It's 20 minutes from Orlando International Airport. It's right near Disney World, located in a created community, a 19th century created community. It's a luxury boutique hotel with 115 elegantly appointed guest rooms. Also, it's one Florida's most romantic hotel. The Celebration Hotel is about 1/2 hour from Daytona Beach, just located not far from the Speedway. Also about a half an hour from Kennedy Space Center, right in the heart of Disney World. But a very, very quiet, small village. The story is Walt Disney came up with a plan for Celebration years ago and wanted to have it designed as his, similar to his own small hometown. It's designed in the casual, elegant style of turn-of-the-century Florida. Elegant, incidentally. Look at this old Cadillac, a 48 Cadillac. Here's an old Chevy parked out in front. The hotel uses these to transport people around to the golf course and various places you might go. Beautiful wicker furniture here. Look at this design. It's elegant. The Celebration Hotel. In Celebration, of course. Next, we're going to have a look at this giant shrimp brunch. Right, this is the plantation room for a luxury breakfast and brunch. Here's the Sunday morning brunch. Look at all of these fresh fish items here. Beautiful. Well, starting with the brunch here this morning, there are so many items. First of all, we couldn't hardly pick all of them to bring them out. But here are some chicken tenders that Alyssa's having, fresh vegetables. I'm having, of course, prime rib, shrimp, and fish. Look at the fresh fruits that are out this morning. Tons. And then here is a bread pudding, very fresh, plus assorted drinks here at Celebration Hotel. Here in downtown Celebration, beautiful fountain. A nice lake that they have here. And then behind me, of course, is the glorious Celebration Hotel from across the lake. Lots of boats to rent, people on the beach, sort of over here with umbrellas. Music plays downtown. Created by Walt Disney in 1994. Looks like an old town, doesn't it? They have American flags flying here like a real town. Whoa, look at this fountain. And, of course, our Ford Expedition fits right in here. It's the perfect car for the perfect town. Even this movie theater is Walt Disney-like. It's very cartoonish. You expect Goofy to step out of the theater and go, This community was designed to look like something out of the 19th century. Like this Ozzie and Harriet house that was built in 1994. Some people say the whole city looks like it was out of something like The Truman Show. Really? Oh my God. Oh my God. We're on the Goofy train. Well, here we are on Main Street, USA. Where else do you get to sign up with, have Dopey meet you in the city square? Or me. If you happen to be here today, I'd sign your autograph, take your picture with me. Hi, Mickey. Oh, my old pal, Mickey Mouse. Thank you. It's good to see you. How about a hug? Hug? Love the shoes. Well, here on Main Street in Disneyland, there's Donald Duck behind me, taking pictures with everybody out in front of City Hall, much like our city council and our city government in Boulder. And here, of course, in Disneyland, they actually have Goofy and Donald and Mickey and Minnie running the city. In Main Street, USA, we'll go into Casey's Corner for a hot dog. Let's get a hot dog. Yep, I did it. We're at Disney World. You know, Walt Disney created all these sort of fantasy cities like Celebration and all these theme parks here in Florida. A lot of families are here, and families are having fun. See, this is what I'm talking about. Pluto hugging people. We need more of this in the world. There's Chip and Dale. And here's Tomorrowland. It's supposed to be like flying saucers and things here. Very futuristic. High school kids parading this way.
Lost Boys. Meter, 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 meter. 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 Meter, 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 meter.